Introduce myself, it looks something like this. Hey everyone, thanks so much for coming. My name is Flint. I use he and...
So a few weeks back, my daughter came home. She's in 4th grade. And how you can tell when kids have like really been thinking about something and want to ask a question. So she came home and she's like, Mom, I have a teacher, and this teacher told us, that they want to be called teacher. I'm going to just say teacher Justin. They don't want to be called Mr. or Miss. And she's like, from the way they, dress, and I guess their overall appearance, I'm not really sure if they're a boy or a girl. Now, just being in 4th grade, based on like experiences she has with other children and how they identify, my daughter can clearly articulate what, being straight, gay, bisexual, and transgender. She can understand those concepts just based on other students and how they identify and, how they discuss pronouns and stuff like that. So not even based on conversations we've had, just based on the other kids educating her about different things, she can really articulate those concepts pretty well. So basically, her question is just very focused on her feeling as if she just really has to know the teacher's like gender expression. So what I talked to her about is, this is your job. The teacher has explained to you what they want to be called, and so your job is to be respectful and to do that. That's what you do, okay? So day or so later, she comes back to me and she's like, remember that conversation we had about my teacher Justin? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, it's just been in my mind. So I went up to them at recess and I asked them, what is their gender? Okay. So I was like, well, how did they respond? And so she said, the teacher was like, I'm not usually comfortable talking about my gender, but since you're curious and you asked, I don't really relate to either gender. I don't, associate myself with either one, which is why I like to be called Teacher Justin. So she's like still, basically like perplexed. And, this is what I told her. Number one, I told you what your job was respect the teacher and call them what they want to be called. And, you are not entitled to know what somebody's gender expression is. That's not information that you are owed from anybody. So from this point on, I don't want you to be going up to anyone inquiring about what their gender is. And unless you're invited, directly, openly invited into a conversation like that, I don't want you doing that. And this is why I told her, not just because it can be intrusive. I said, sweetie, in some places, teachers can lose their job for having that conversation with you. Teachers can lose their job for having any discussions around gender, expression or anything like that. So, you have to understand that your actions, there's nothing wrong with being curious. There's nothing wrong with having a thought or a question, but you have to understand that even engaging someone in a conversation like that they didn't invite you to, can really have serious consequences for them. So I don't want you doing that, going forward, unless someone has invited you into that conversation. So I'm hoping that she took that and that she won't, continue doing that. But anyway, watching this video just kind of reminded me of that situation. And I think it's important for us to not just educate our kids on like having an understanding, but knowing that even their questions in this current climate can have, negative consequences on people.